Hi, I hope I'm audible. So, yes, I can see some students who attended yesterday, and I guess some students are new to today's demo, right? Okay, let me share my screen first. So, actually, yesterday we started this batch. Yesterday was our first demo class. Okay, quickly, I'll just explain you what we discussed yesterday, and then we can continue with the next remaining concepts. Okay, so if possible, if you get some time, I suggest you to watch yesterday's demo link, yesterday's video as well. Our admin team will follow you, they will send you the link of yesterday's video as well in your mail. Okay. Still, we just discussed some basic things yesterday, like what is database and what is SQL, right? And how we are going to create. We saw about MySQL Workbench. We created a database, activated the database, and we created table, which I'll first repeat it in first 5 to 10 minutes. Then I'll continue with today topics. Okay. So as I said yesterday, database is something where we will store the data, right? Database in the sense it is a collection of data, I can say. Collection of data. Basically, we are generating lots and lots of data nowadays, right? To store the data properly, we will use databases. Okay. And what is SQL in the sense? We know the full form of SQL, that is structured query language. What is exactly SQL in the sense? It is a language used to communicate with the database. Okay. So SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. We will store data inside the database. Whenever we wanted to see any particular data, whenever we wanted to access any data, we will use SQL as a language so that database will understand exactly what we want. Okay. So for communication purpose, we will use this SQL. Okay. And as I said yesterday, SQL is an universal declared language. What are all the concepts we are going to learn? The concepts are of SQL only. Then what is MySQL in this is a kind of product, right? MySQL, Oracle SQL, SQL Server, like this, we have many databases in the market, right? So those are just tools which we are going to use the database, but the concepts are same, right? And this is MySQL Workbench. Once we are done with demo classes, I'll show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay. But here towards the left side, whatever you can see schemas, below schemas, you can see all these things, right? These are nothing but the list of my databases. Okay. By default, whenever you install your software, you can able to see only this database. Okay. But once you started creating any databases, that particular list you can observe. Okay. Here I'm having this many databases. That is the reason you can see all of this, right? And below, this is information section. Basically, whenever we select any database, whenever we select any table, that information about that table we can able to find here. And this is a SQL file, we can say, or the editor page where we are going to write, where we will write all the queries. And at the bottom, this is output section. Okay. So to open a new SQL file, we have two options in menu bar. This is called as menu bar. This is a toolbar. Okay. This is menu bar and this is toolbar. So in the menu bar, either we can click on file, new query tab. We can able to open a new SQL file, or else directly shortcut this in toolbar, the first icon. Okay. This one. If I'm clicking on this, I can able this one. If I am clicking on this, I can able to open a new file. Okay. And inside the file, I will have some options. That is, after writing any queries, to save that file, we will click on this save option. And to open the already saved files, we'll click on this file option. Okay. Like this. We can able to open any saved files. And the third icon is nothing but execute button. After writing any queries, if you want to execute, we need to click on this particular button. Okay. Remaining options and what are all the options we have in menu bar, toolbar, going forward, we will see. Okay. So what we discussed yesterday. SQL is case insensitive. Of course, we can use lowercase, uppercase, anything in is fine in SQL. We have something called as comments here. Like in every programming language, sorry guys, I hope you can hear me now. I lost my internet suddenly. Just now power off. So yeah, sorry for that. Let me continue. So just like in all the other programming languages, however, we will have comments. Here also we will have something like comments. Comments in the sense whatever we will write inside comments that are non-executable. If we don't want to execute anything, we can write it inside comments. If you observe here, I wrote all these things inside this symbol, right? This is nothing but comment, okay? Because I don't want to execute that particular thing. I'm just writing it as a notes. So that is the reason I kept it inside comments. So basically we'll have two types of comments, single line comments and multi-line comments. Single line comments in the sense we use two symbols, either this symbol, two hash like, I mean, two hyphens like this, or else one single hash. Okay. So anything you can use to use the single line comments. Multi-line comments in the sense something like a paragraph or two, three lines. If you wanted to write inside comments, we can use this symbols, hash, star. This is the start of the comment. This is the end of the comment. In between, you can write how many lines you want. You can write those are non-executable. Okay, like that. Next, as I said, for everything in SQL here, we will have syntaxes, right? So likewise, for creating database also, we will have a syntax. And the syntax will be like create database name, right? So we created a database called as SQL demo yesterday, right? Let me just change the name as SQL demo 1. Okay. So I wrote it as create database SQL demo 1. After that, I will select like this and we need to execute. Okay, you can see in the output section, whenever you can see this green color tick mark, it indicates that it executed successfully. If you got any errors, you can see red color cross mark. Okay, so this is how we will create a database. So now to see the SQL demo 1 in this database list, we need to refresh. We have a refresh icon here. We need to refresh once, then we can able to see SQL demo 1. Okay. Inside, we can expand this database. Inside, we'll have four sections basically: tables, views, stored procedures, functions. One by one, we will discuss going forward. But for now, let's concentrate on tables. Okay. What are views? What are stored procedures? I'll explain later. Okay, so after creating database, definitely every time whenever we are working on any database, we need to activate the database, right? Because of course in real time we will connect to our only single database, that will be our client's database. But here in learning process, you can see there are so many databases here, right? So every time whenever I'm using any database, I need to activate that particular database so that SQL will understand that which database I'm using. Okay, if you can see here currently this database is in activation, DurgaSoft. You can see this is, we can see that particular name in dark bold characters, right? So now I need to actually, we wanted to use this database. So I need to activate this database, and to activate, we will use use command. Okay. Demo1, I need to select, we need to execute. You can see now this database is in activation, right? Going forward, whatever statements, whatever syntaxes we will database only. Okay. This is about how we are going to, how we will create a database and how we will activate the database. Okay. Next, creating table. As I already said this concept yesterday, I'm just explaining a little bit quickly. Okay. So creating the database, create in the sense, obviously it is one command which is used to create any kind of database objects, right? These are all called as database objects, that is tables, views, store procedures. Okay. For now, we are seeing create syntax. That is, for now we are seeing how we are going to create tables. So to create the tables, we will have this syntax: create table, table name. After writing table name, within the brackets, that is within the parentheses, we need to write column names, right? And for each column name, we need to define a data type, correct? Suppose if I am writing like this employees table, which I showed yesterday, maybe I didn't say. I'm really sorry, guys. My bad. Today, yes. Let me continue. So I'm just trying to show you how we are going to write a table in Excel file. Then I'll show you how we are going to create it in SQL. Okay. So if employees is my table name, suppose if I'm using employee ID as one column, employee name as one column. Okay. And then maybe salary, maybe date of joining. Like this, I'm going to use some column names. Okay. In that, let me enter some data here quickly. So maybe something like this. I'll take some random data here. So actually, so first of all, we will create a database. Inside database, we will create tables, and inside the tables, we need to store the data. Okay. So we created the database. Now inside database, we need to create the tables. Okay. So suppose if this is my table in Excel file, we will write tables like this, right? So every table is a collection of rows and columns. As mostly we will know about this, we know about this, right? Rows and columns. Okay. So vertical thing is called as column, that is employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary is one column, date of joining is one column. And horizontal part, that is, this is my first row of data, this is my second row of data. Okay. So this is called as column and this is called as row. So here I'm having basically 4 columns and 2 rows of data, right? So if we are writing this in SQL, we will use this particular syntax. Okay, that is create table name. Within the brackets, we need to define column names. How many columns we want, that many columns we need to define. And for every column name, we need to define the data type, right? So what is data type? Basically data type is nothing but, suppose if you observe here in Excel file, in salary column, suppose if I am writing something like this, it is allowing me to write, right? Basically salary column, in the sense we need to enter numbers only, right? Knowingly or unknowingly, if I'm entering some irrelevant data or some wrong data, it is accepting. It is not saying me that this is salary column, you need to enter numbers only, you are entering some incorrect data. It is not giving me any such errors, it is not stopping me, right? This is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file. Whatever we will enter, it won't stop us. Whatever I'll give, it will take, right? So this is one of the drawback. To get rid of this drawback, we will use databases concept. Sorry, we will use data types concept in SQL. Okay, data types is something by using which we will decide, data types only will decide what kind of values we can store inside any column. Okay, what kind of values we can store inside any column will be decided by data types itself. Basically we will have this many data types: numerical data type, okay, character data type. Yesterday I shown you one picture, right? Let me show it quickly once again. So these are some types of data types, right? Numerical data type, character or string data type, date and time data type. Again, in numerical data type, we have two types, that is int and float. Okay, character or string, in the sense we have char and varchar. Here we have date and date type. That is, suppose if we want to store only numbers, we can use int. As you can see here, 1 2 3 I can able to store inside int, right? Suppose if I want to store any decimal values, we will use float. Okay, but in float, decimals also it will accept, normal numbers also it will accept. That is, I can even store only one also here. Okay, it accepts both, whereas int accepts only normal numbers. Okay, so character or string data type, we have two types. One is char and one is varchar. So what is the difference between them? I'll explain you in a while. Okay, and the next, date and time data type. Here we have two more. That is, one is date data type and the next one is date time data type. Okay, so let's see. Now accordingly what I did, suppose in character or character data type, whenever we are defining char or varchar, we need to define size also. Okay, let's see what is that. So suppose, however, I wrote in Excel file, I defined the same column names. I gave employee ID here. Obviously, we will store some numbers. So I gave integer, int. Next, employee name, I gave char here. After writing character data, I need to, I used parentheses here, and within the brackets, I gave some number, that is 10. That means I'm defining the size as 10 here. What is this? In the sense, I can, if I am defining the size as 10 here, I can able to, insert up to 10 characters only in this particular employee name. If I'm trying to enter more than 10, 11 character, 11 letter word, 12 letter word, it will throw me error stating, you know uh, the data is too long to enter. Okay, because we are giving only 10 bytes of memory, we are defining 10 as size for this particular column name. Okay, and for salary I defined as float, and then date of joining I defined data type as date. Okay, like this. So let me execute this. I'll select it, I executed, you can see my table got created. So now let's refresh once. I can able to expand tables now. This is my employees table. If I'm selecting employees table, in the information section, you can able to see the column names and the data types, right? Like that. Okay, so I think up to here only we discussed in yesterday's class. Okay, I hope it is clear for everyone. Right, now let's try to understand about char and varchar. What is char, what is varchar? Let me explain you. Okay, so basically we have two types of character data types, right? One is char and one is varchar. What is that? In the sense, let me just explain you by taking one example. Suppose Same example I'll take. Employee name is there. For employee name, I'm defining char as data type and I'm defining 10 as size. If I write like this, if I define like this, what will happen in the backend in the sense? Suppose I'm just taking one box. I'm trying to divide it into 10 divisions. Okay, 1, 10 divisions, right? Because I defined here size as 10. That is the reason I divided this box into 10. Suppose imagine I'm writing any name. Suppose I'm entering Ram as name. So for R, I will take this box. For A, I'll take this box. For M, I'll take this box. Each and every character will take one single byte of memory. This is basically, we are allocating 10 bytes of memory here. Okay, 10 bytes of memory we are allocating for this particular employee name column. And how many characters we are entering, each character will take one byte of memory. Okay, suppose out of this 10 bytes of memory, I only used 3 bytes of memory. That is, I only entered Ram as my word, so 3 bytes only used. Remaining leftover whatever 7 bytes of memory is there, here what will happen if I used char data type, all the remaining bytes also will be used. All the bytes will be given like this blank spaces. Okay, in each and every byte it will be automatically, SQL will automatically take blank spaces and it will use complete 10 bytes of memory. Okay, this is what it will happen whenever we are using char. If I'm using char, irrespective of how many characters I'm entering, okay, if I use, if I just enter 2 characters, if I enter 4 characters, 6 characters, irrespective of how many letter word I'm trying to insert, whatever data we have defined, that complete memory will be used for this employee name only. So that I can say here, if I am using char, I can say memory wastage is happening, right? Am I clear? Is there any, any doubts, guys? Is this clear? Please respond. In char, memory is being wasted, right? Because how many letters word we are using also, it doesn't matter, it don't bother how, whatever bytes of memory we are allocating here, that complete bytes it will use. Okay, whereas if I'm using varchar, okay, if I'm using varchar, that is, for example, here let me write it as, for employee name column only I'm trying to write varchar and I'm trying to give 10 as size. Okay, then what will happen? Again, I'm not taking the box. In this box only I'll explain. Suppose if it is varchar, again I define the size as 10 here. Now what will, okay, okay, Mahesh, I got it. Sorry for that. I'll inform to admin team. Basically, you can unmute and you can speak today, but I don't know, for some reasons, even before they made me host, I also am able to unmute. That's okay. You can, if you have any doubts, please, type in chat box. Okay. I hope it is clear whatever I said till now. Right? Perfect. So yeah, if it is varchar, if we are defining varchar, what will happen? Perfect. What will happen? Suppose if I am entering some, if I'm entering some Sam as name. For S, I'll take this box. For A, I'll take this box. For M, I'll take this box. Here also, I'm taking 3 bytes of memory. Whatever remaining 7 bytes of memory is there, this 7 bytes of memory won't be given to this particular employee name. This 7 bytes of memory will be given back to the SQL itself. Whenever I'm using varchar, what will happen? Whatever bytes of memory I'm not using, that remaining memory will be allocated back to the database. Okay, so that is the concept here. So I can say by using varchar, memory won't be wasted, but if we are using char, our memory will be wasted, right? That is the main difference between char and varchar. So by this difference, we can I can say that definitely in real time we will use varchar only. In which scenarios we will use char? In the sense, maybe if we know exactly how much data if we are entering on any particular column. For example, suppose let's take gender column. I'm going to use gender column. In gender column, definitely I know what data I can enter, either male or female. So I know how many characters I will enter. Like that. Accordingly, if I know how much data I'm going to enter in any column, I can use char. Okay, or else we will use varchar. This is the first difference. And one more point here is char, we can store up to 255 characters only. In char, only 255 characters we can store in char. In varchar, we can store up to 64,235 characters. Okay, like that. We have two differences or 2 points here. This is about char and varchar. Mostly due to this memory wastage thing, we will prefer to use varchar only in real time. Okay. And as I said yesterday, date time data type, in the sense, this is the format which we will use, right? First year, then month, then date. Definitely we need to use this format only, or else it will throw us error. And along with the date, if you want to store time, then we will use date time data type. Year, month, date, along with that hour, minute and second. Okay. Next, we have Boolean. This is also one kind of data type. If we want to enter only true or false as values, we need to use Boolean data type. Okay. This is about data types. I hope I'm clear. Now let's see how we are going to insert the data. We just created the table structure, right? Let's insert the data. To insert the data, we will use insert command. The syntax will be insert into table name, values, and then we need to start inserting the data within the brackets. So let me write insert into table name is employees, right? Values is a keyword we need to write, and then I will start inserting the data, and we need to insert the data in the same sequence. In whatever sequence we give him column names, that sequence only we need to follow. So first I'll use maybe employee ID 1, employee name is Ram, okay, and salaries maybe 75,000. I'll give some date of joining, okay, like this. As I said, we need to use date format like this only. First year, then month, then date. Okay. And if you observe here, for character data and for dates, I'm using single quotes. Either we can use single quotes or else we can use double quotes, no problem. But we need to definitely use quotes here. For numbers only, we don't use any quotes. We will write normally. But for character data or dates, we need to write within the quotes. Okay. And this is my first row of data. What we are doing within the brackets, each column data is separated by comma, right? This after giving one value, if I wrote comma, that indicates this is my first column data, second column, third column, like that. Once I'm done with one row, I need to close the bracket. I need to keep a comma, and my second row data, I need to give in another brackets like this. Okay. This is how we will insert the data. I hope I'm clear. Okay, like this. So for now, I'm inserting, maybe I'll insert one more row here. We need to keep a comma, and then I'll start inserting one more row like this. Maybe I'll write it as John. I'll give some salary. I'll give some date of joining. Okay, so 3 rows I gave. Let me select this and let's execute. It got executed successfully. Okay, now after what we did now, we created the data, we inserted the data. Let's try to display the data. To display the data, we need to use select command. Okay, so let me write it as select star from Let me write it clearly. Select is a command which is used to display the data. Okay. So to display the data, we will use select command, and the syntax will be select star from table name. Here star in the sense, technically we will call it as asterisk. Whenever we wanted to display, use it to display complete data. Whenever we wanted to display complete data from table, we will use star like this. Okay. So let me write select star from table name. Our table name is employees, right? So like this we need to write. Now let me select this and I'll execute. We can see the output like this. We got 4 columns and 3 rows, right? So whenever we are writing star, it will show us the entire data. Suppose if I want to see any particular data, then I can use that particular column name. Suppose if I wanted to see only employee name and salary, I can write like this. Select employee name, comma, salary from employees. Okay. If we are using star, it will display complete data. If you want to see any particular columns, we can write that particular column names and it will display data accordingly. Okay. So this is how we will create database. We will activate database. We will create table. We will insert the data and we will display the data. Okay. We created the table. We inserted some data and we displayed the data, right? This is some basic understanding about SQL, like how we are going to use databases, how we are creating table, inserting data and displaying the data. I hope it is clear. Now let's start a new concept. Okay. And the concept name is sublanguages. Once show the display data, sure. See, if we use select star from employees, I'm executing, it will display the data like this: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining, 4 columns. In that I inserted 3 rows, right? However, I inserted the same data, it is showing me. Any doubts, Mahesh? Okay, perfect. So let me continue with the next concept, that is sublanguages. Okay, we will have some commands in SQL. All the commands we have under sublanguages. Okay, basically we have 5 sublanguages. First one is DTL, that is data definition language. Let me show you one picture. Right. So SQL commands or sublanguages are divided into 5 types. Okay. First one is DTL, that is data definition language. DML, data manipulation language. DCL, data control language. TCL, transaction control language. DQL in the sense data query language. In each of this language, again we have some commands in it. Okay. Now let's try to understand all of these commands detailing. Okay. So let's start. First, as I said, DDL. Okay. DDL in the sense data definition language. And the commands comes under DDL are create, alter, drop, truncate, and rename. Okay. And the second one is DML, that is data manipulation language. Commands comes under DML are insert, update, and delete. Okay. Next, DCL, that is data control language. We have only 2 commands in it, that is grant and revoke. Next we have TCL, that is transaction control language. We have commands like commit, rollback, save point. Okay. Next we have DQL, or else we'll also call it as DRL. Okay, DQL in the sense data query language, or DRL in the sense data retrieval language. Both are same. Mostly we'll call it as DQL only. Sometimes in some resources you may find this one also, DRL also. Okay, both are same. And we have only one command in it, that is select command. Okay, so now let's discuss all the commands detailing. First, let's see about DDL commands. So we have basically 5 commands in it. The first one is create command, which we already understood, right? So I'm not repeating it once again. Create command is basically used to create any table. We already saw the create table syntax, right? Create table name. We need to write column names and we will define data types inside the parentheses. Okay. So that is how we will create a table. How we are going to create stored procedures, views, everything we will learn in that while whenever we are learning that particular concepts. Okay. Now let's see about drop command. Basically, this is one of the command which is used to remove tables permanently from the database. Permanently from database. If I don't want to keep any table inside the database, if I want to remove any table, I created one table, I don't want that table, I wanted to remove that table permanently from my database, then we will use this drop command. Okay, the syntax will be drop table name, simple. Okay, so I can say drop before remove. I don't want to remove this table, so let me create quickly another table. Maybe I'll use the same table um, by changing the name. Okay, so I'm just keeping it as employees1. Okay, I'm creating it. Let me copy, insert syntax also. Okay, you can see I'm just changing the table names cannot be same. Okay, so that is the reason I'm just changing the table name as employees1, so that I can show you how we are going to use drop command on this. Let's display this data. Select star from employees1. We are having data in it, right? You can see now if I use drop table name, that is employees1, before executing this particular thing, let me actually refresh and show you. We have employees and employees1. We have two tables here. Now I'm trying to use drop command on employees1. Let me select, let me execute. You can observe employees1 is removed from the database permanently. If I am now if I try to execute this select statement of employees1, it will throw me error stating employees1 doesn't exist, right? In this database, that table doesn't exist, it is saying, because I already used drop command. Basically, why we will use drop command? Whenever we wanted to remove any table permanently from the database, we will use drop command. Okay. Next, we have alter command. So basically in alter, we have 5 use cases. Okay, let me explain one by one. First use case is that alter is used to add any new column in the existing table. Suppose I already created one table. For example, I created employees table here. In this, I give 4 columns, that is employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Now I realize that I wanted to add one more column in the same table. So at that time, we cannot use create command, right? By using create command, we are creating the table. But here the table is already created. I just want to add a new column in it. Then I need to use alter command. The syntax will be like alter table name. We need to use a keyword called as add column name, and we need to say data type. Okay, whenever we are defining column name, we need to define data type as well. Okay, so let's see alter table employees. Okay, add column name. Maybe I'll write it as bonus column. For bonus column, I'll give float as a data type. Okay, I'm just adding one more column here, that is bonus. For that, I'm defining one data type. Let's see, it got created. Now let's see. Here I'm having up to date of joining only. If I refresh, you can able to see I got bonus also, right? Like that. Let's try to display the data. Select star from employees. I just created the column. We didn't inserted the data. So that is the reason it will show me null values, but we got the new column name, right? For the already created table, if we want to add a new column, we will use alter command and the syntax will be this one. Okay. Second use case. Guys, anyone, if you have any doubts or if you want me to repeat any concept, you can just ping me or you can just text me in chat. Okay. I don't know today for some reasons you are unable to, unmute yourself. I'll just make sure tomorrow you can able to do so. I'll talk with the admin team. Daily, regularly, you can able to unmute and you can speak. But today, I don't know why. You can just text in the chat box. I'm just checking the chat box. Okay. If you have any doubts, if you want me to repeat again any concept, I can do that. Okay. And the second use case is alter is also used to remove any existing column or else I can say alter is used to remove any column from the existing table. Okay, so suppose if I wanted to add a new column into the table, into the already created table also, I can use alter only. For in the already created table, if I don't want any column, if I wanted to remove any one column, I'm having some columns. I realize that I don't want one column in that. Then I can use alter command. Okay, for this purpose also. And then the syntax will be like alter table name. We need to use a keyword called as drop. Previously, what we did to remove the table from the database, we used drop table name, right? Now I wanted to remove column, then I need to use drop inside alter. I'm saying I want to alter the table, alter table name, drop. I need to use a keyword called as column. We need to say I'm going to drop column, and then I need to say column name. Okay, that is alter table employees drop column, maybe bonus, whatever we just created. I'm trying to remove that. Okay, I'm selecting, executing, it got executed. Let's see, right? Like this, we can able to add a new column. We can able to remove any existing column by using alter. These are two use cases. Now let's see third use case. Third use case is that alter is used to change data type of any existing column in the table. Okay, suppose while creating the table, we will define data types. While working, I realized that I don't want that particular data type. I wanted to change the data type. For example, just now we understood about the difference between char and varchar. We understood that by using char, our memory is being wasted. So now I don't want to use char. I wanted to change that particular employee name data type to varchar. Okay, so I can use alter command. How we need to use the key, the syntax will be alter table name. Here we need to use a keyword called as modify. Okay, we are just changing the data type name, right? We need to use modify. Okay, and then I need to give column name and new data type. Okay, like this, alter table name is employees. Okay, modify keyword I need to use, and I need to give employee name is my column name, and I wanted to give varchar of 10. Previously I'm having char, I'm trying to change this to varchar, like this. Inside alter we need to use modify keyword. Okay, let me execute. It got executed. Now let's refresh and check. See, I got varchar here, right? Like this. Not only complete data type, if I wanted to change size also, I will use the same key, same syntax. Okay. Till now, whatever we saw, all the syntaxes are same for all databases. That is, this syntaxes you can use for SQL Server also. Okay, except this one. This particular syntax, whenever we wanted to change data type, there will be little bit change here because modify keyword is not there in SQL Server. In SQL Server, if I wanted to use this particular thing, I need to write it as alter table name. Again, I need to use alter only. There modify keyword is not there. We need to use alter twice. and I'll say column name and new data type. Remaining everything is same. Okay. This is the only change. Remaining everything, all the syntaxes are same in all the databases. Only in SQL Server, this particular thing, it won't work. Modify keyword is not there. In SQL Server, we need to use alter again. 2 times we need to say alter only. Okay. This is about 3 use cases, right? First use case is that whenever we wanted to add a new column in the already created table, we will use alter command. If we want to remove any already existing column, also we will use alter command. If we wanted to change data type or if we wanted to change size, also we will use alter command only. And the fourth use case is that use it to change column name. Okay. Suppose while creating the table, I'll give some column names. Okay. Whenever I don't want to use the same column name, whenever I decided to change the column name, we need to use alter command only. We need to write it as alter table name. We need to use a rename keyword here. Okay. Rename column, old column name to new column name. Okay. Like this, we need to give. So let me write it as alter table. Employees is our table name. Okay. Rename is a keyword which we need to use. I'm saying that I'm going to rename column and then I'm writing maybe instead of DOJ, I'll just change it to date of joining. Okay. Let's see. It got created. Let's refresh and check. See, we got date of joining. Like this, even we can rename the column names by using alter command only. Okay. And the last and the fifth use case is that alter is used to add primary key in the already created table or else already existed table. Okay, I created table here after, I mean, on the already created table, in the already existed table, I decided to add a primary key. If I want to add a primary key, I need to use alter command. But what is primary key? We didn't cover so far. In integrity constraints, we will see this concept. At that time only, I will explain this particular use case. Okay, primary key is something which we will learn in the next class. Okay, then there only I'll explain this use case. Okay, this is about alter command. I hope I'm clear about the 5 use cases of alter, except fifth one. Okay, so create is done, alter is done, drop is done. Next, let's see truncate. Truncate. Truncate command is used to remove data inside the table, but structure of the table will be same. Okay, structure of the table will remain same. Let me write like this. So whenever we are using truncate, what will happen? Suppose if I say select star from employees, we will get to see the data of employees table, right? We are having some rows and columns in it. So we created table structure by using create command. We inserted data by using insert command. Okay, to display we used select command. Now what is truncate? In the sense, whenever we are using whatever data we are having inside the table, that data will be removed. Okay, but the structure in the sense here, it can be table name and it will be the column names. Okay, table name, column names and data types, whatever we created by using create command, that will be as it is only. That is, whenever we will use this concept, in the sense, suppose I'm having one table. Okay, my client wanted me to change the data inside the table. Okay, the table structure I want as it is, but I wanted to remove the old data and I wanted to give the new data. So in that scenario, I can simply use truncate. By using truncate, what will happen? How many data, how many rows I will have? Also, if I'm having 2000 rows, also all the rows at a time I can remove, but the table structure will be as it is. Okay, so let me quickly create employees one table once again so that I can use. So let me quickly create employees one table once again so that I can use. So let me quickly create employees one table once again so that I can use. So let me quickly create employees one table once again so that I can use. So let me quickly create employees one table once again so that I can use Where is that? Here. Okay, I created the table, I inserted the data. Let's display select star from employees one. Okay, so I'm having 3 rows of data in it. Employees one table. Okay, you can see I'm having employees and employees one 2 tables. In employees one also I'm having 3 rows of data. Now, if I wanted to use truncate command on it, let's see how we are going to use. The syntax will be like truncate table table name. Okay, simple. Truncate table and table name will be our syntax. So I can write it as truncate table. Table name will be employees one, right? So I'm selecting this, I'm executing. Okay, it got executed. Now, if I display the data by using select command, I can able to see like this, because entire data inside the table it will remove. That is what I said, use it to remove data inside the table, but the structure of the table will remain same. Structure in the sense it will be the table name, employees one, and column names, that is employee id, employee name, salary, date of joining, and what are all the data types we define. Okay, the structure will be as it is, only data inside will be removed. Now I can simply use insert command and I can insert new rows or new data, right? So whenever we are trying, if we are facing any scenario, that if we are having any scenario that we wanted to maintain the same structure, same column name, same data types of the table, but I wanted to remove complete data from it and I wanted to insert new data. We have 2 options. First option is that either I can use drop command. By using drop command, completely I can remove the table, and then again I need to use create command, and then I need to use insert command. This also okay. Or else, as I'm saying, I want the table structure is same, then no need of removing the table, right? Instead of this following 3 steps, simply I can use truncate, and then simply I can use insert, right? Instead of following these 3 steps, drop, create, and see, by dropping I'll remove the completely, and then I'll create the table, and then I'll insert the data. Instead of that, instead of following these 2 steps, simply I can use truncate, so that completely data inside will be removed, and then in the same table I'll insert new data, right? Like that. I hope it is clear how we are going to use truncate and why. Last command is rename. Okay, let's see. We have rename command. Obviously it is used to change table name. If I wanted to change any table name, I'll use rename command. Previously, what we did inside alter, whenever I wanted to change column name, I used rename keyword inside alter, right? Here I'm saying that I want to rename column. Okay, if I want to rename column, I will use alter command. Inside alter, we will use rename keyword. But if I wanted to change table name, directly we will write it as rename table old table name to new table name. Okay, like this. Suppose I'll write it as rename table. Employees one is there, right? I'll just change employees one to emp. Okay, I'm selecting, executing. I'm refreshing here. You can check I got emp. Employees one, instead of employees one, I just renamed that to emp. Like that. This is about DDL commands. Okay, data definition language. We have 5 commands in it. I explained all the commands very clearly, right? DML commands, let's see in the next class, tomorrow class. But before that, let me show you, actually, whatever we are executing, we are getting correct outputs only. Let me show you at least one error today. Okay, suppose we created employees table. We used employee name as a column name. In employee name column, we define size as 10, right? So suppose I inserted data here. What is size 10 here? If I define size as 10, I am supposed to enter only 10 characters in this particular employee name. Let's try to insert any name which is more than 10 and 10 letters, and let's see what kind of error we are getting. Okay, suppose if I say insert into employees values, I'll give column employee ID 4, employee name maybe I'll give my name itself. Okay, sorry, we need to give any big name, right? Let me directly give something like this. Okay, and I'm giving some salary, and I'm giving some, where is that, date of joining. Okay, now let's see what will happen. Definitely here I used more than 10 characters, right? So if I am using more than 10 characters, I actually, you know, defined only 10 as a size here, but I'm trying to enter more than 10 characters. Then it will throw me error stating data too long for column employee name, right? It is saying for employee name, the data is too long to enter, right? Like this, whatever errors, whatever mistakes we will do, we will get errors very clearly, so that by reading the error messages itself, we can understand what mistake we did, right? SQL is so easy actually. We need to understand the concept very clearly and we need to practice. Wherever you go, whatever job role you choose in complete IT industry, this is a definite knowledge we need to have. We need to have some good knowledge on SQL, definitely, right? So that's it about today's class. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Yesterday only I showed you about the course content, right? If you anyone is new, I covered yesterday's class also, but still, if you want, you can check the yesterday's demo video. Okay. And as you know, the duration is of 35 days from yesterday, right? And the course fees is of 4,000. You can find the registration details. You will get an email from our admin team. Just follow that and get registered if you like my content. Okay. All right, guys. Any doubts? If there is any doubts, please ask me, or else I'll end the session for today and let's meet in tomorrow's class. I hope it is clear for everyone. All right. Okay. All right then. Bye.